I have a story. A very good story. Do you want to hear it? There he is, a dumb kid wondering what the future held. He wanted to be a writer, but the words just wouldn't come.
Maybe now this should be a hobby, just until you get your feet on the ground.
Dad, it doesn't work like that. You gotta pay my dues.
No, I gotta pay your dues. You gotta start taking responsibility for your life.
And then, all of a sudden, there she was. For the first time, he saw a world that was bigger than the one he'd been born into.
Okay, I gotta fix this.
Fine. We are missing out.
Finished.
That was his moment.
No. Tell me the truth. What really happened?
Hello, everybody. Good to see you.
Hey.
Jake Hamilton from Houston. Man.
Hey,
Honored to meet
Jake.
you. How's it going?
Nice to meet you too.
This movie is incredible, by the way.
Shut
Oh, thank
It's
you
like
very much.
Will Smith shit.
They available at Target.
Really?
Yeah. No kidding. Jake Hamilton, Fox Houston.
Waxed. I love it.
Thank you.
Shiny.
Like this.
Cool.
To get that compliment from you, that's saying a lot, my friend.
Yeah, well, somebody else picks out my clothes. I'm sure you did that on your own.
I did. Baby
That's what I'm
steps,
saying.
man. I just blindly
steps.
pick it. I lucked out. One of the basic kind of emotional core feelings I think we can all relate to is that idea of kind of wanting to take credit of this for something we didn't do. I think at one point in our lives we'd all like to do that. If you could,
the plagiarism aspect.
right, exactly. If you could theoretically take credit for another part that another actor in this cast has done, which actor and which part would you like to take credit for if no one could find out?
Oh, that's a good question. I think, well, when I was a kid, I used to be a Roald Dahl fan, and then Jeremy Irons played the father in Danny the Champion of the World, and it was one of my favorite movies ever, so I would have loved to do that. But maybe, hey, Bradley in The Hangover.
Right, that'd be fun too.
Oh, but I mean, I like to take credit for Jeremy's, but I probably would have liked to have done that.
Right.
You know,
right.
that Bradley's role in that.
I just want Jeremy's
great.
voice, man. I just want that growl, that's, you know, from The Lion King. I want that scar.
Klaus von Bülow.
That performance from Jeremy.
Nice.
That was me. I did that.
I guess Jeremy's kind of got to go at the top of the list. How about like Dennis?
Or maybe no. You know what?
How about Dennis's
The
The
Mission?
Mission?
Yeah.
How about Quaid's entire career? 90 movies that guy's made.
90? Is he really?
Yeah, it's incredible. 90 movies. Yeah, it's insane.
The nature of the publishing business right now, I don't know how to publish a book like this.
What once was his whole world suddenly seemed small.
We don't have any money.
I'm not who I thought I was. And I'm terrified that I never will be.
He knew the life he wanted. He knew what he had to do to get it.
It's so different from anything you've ever done before.
I have to tell you something.
As an actor, that even though it's a completely different aspect in the movie, but that feeling of desperation and doing something and not succeeding and waiting until that right thing comes along would be something you can relate to. I mean, whenever you're struggling, obviously you're doing very well now. You're sitting here, you're promoting this great movie, but right at some point, was there ever that point of desperation that you related to?
Yeah, I mean, I took like 9 months off to go and do a play because I loved the story and I definitely wanted to do it. And then it finished, and I was thinking, I haven't even got an audition or anything. I was like, this is ridiculous. I've done big studio movies, and like, I mean, just you got to ride the roller coaster. I mean, it doesn't matter how successful we are. There's you know, because the choices that are available to you become like Bradley's life becomes more complicated in this movie after he has success because he's racked with the guilt of, you know, the fact that he didn't write the story, but he gets all these different opportunities to do other stuff, and then he tries to release his own stuff, and everyone's saying it's different, and you know, it doesn't matter who you are, what you've done, there's always going to be peaks and troughs.
Right.
And so learning to sort of ride that out with grace, I think is the key.
Yeah, I mean, you just sort of, I sort of was in a bubble of, I thought, like, I didn't realize you actually booked jobs the first couple of years I auditioned. I was, like, happy, like, a callback. I was like, how was your week? I'm thinking, like, yeah, I got, like, 3 callbacks. Like, I never even thought, you never get the job.
Right.
So, honestly, and I remember the first
exactly
time I booked.
what you mean.
Yeah, you're like, oh, I made it to the thing. That's awesome.
But if you can enjoy, again, I mean, like, it's like something Rory doesn't do. You got to enjoy the process.
Yeah.
You know, if you can enjoy the process of all of it. At some point, I got a big shift for me when I used to go on auditions, when I used to be like, oh, I get to perform today.
You booked, though, dude. You booked.
Not like you, though, man.
Commercials?
Commercials, I could always...
He was the killer.
Yeah.
And now look at you guys.
He was cocky too.
Cocky as hell.
He was a guy book all over.
I've been hearing stories about someone laying napkins
Super Bowl.
down everywhere back in the day.
Not everywhere.
I heard napkins. I was in a movie theater, and there was a commercial before the movie that I was seeing, and it was a commercial for this, and it was you guys talking about just Bradley Cooper just put napkins everywhere as a kid, and everyone in the theater just died laughing. Just thought that was the funniest thing. So everyone out
I
there
was
knows
about
that.
the napkins on my tray when
Oh
I
yeah,
first came.
totally,
They made fun of me.
everywhere. I didn't make fun of you for that one.
Yeah.
I used to take him down, man.
Wait, it's not over yet. This is where it really gets interesting.
There's this great scene. It's actually one of my favorite scenes in the movie. One of my favorite scenes so far this year is a scene with Jeremy Irons and Bradley Cooper when Jeremy Irons first reveals to
in the park,
right,
on the bench.
Yeah, and there's the idea
and
of
then
like
it goes into my story.
exactly,
And it comes back.
Exactly, and there's the idea of initially Bradley Cooper thinks that he's a fan, but then he ends up kind of dropping this ball and kind of changing the whole events of the story.
He teases him with it.
Yeah, exactly.
So I've smelt that.
Exactly. So I was wondering, what is the weirdest experience you've ever had with a fan?
I had a lovely moment the other day, actually. There was a sort of competition to win tickets to an early screening of this, and all these sort of girls had written in or whatever, and they got to go to the screening, and I took a picture with all of them before the screening, and they knew it was my birthday coming up, and they all sang me happy birthday. They like planned it out.
Nice.
It was very sweet.
That's very cool. That takes like some forethought a little bit.
Yeah, I know I have a lot of weird stuff. I mean, the Japanese love the Narnia films, and they've sent me some strange stuff over the years,
Can I ask,
little gifts and stuff.
What that strange stuff would be?
It's like lots of Hello Kitty themed gifts and goods. My mother has an whole attic full of very strange stuff. Like collage books,
right?
And underpants and.
You have to choose between life and fiction. The two are very close, but they never actually die.
One of my favorite lines in the movie, and I wrote it down, was you have to choose between life or fiction. So theoretically, if you could choose to forego the life you have now and choose one of the fictional roles that you've played in the past to kind of lead that life, which fictional part do you think you'd take on?
That's a good question. Most of the things I do end in some kind of abject misery by the end of it, so I can't choose most of them. I guess I'm trying to think of any one which ends happily. I mean, the Narnia movies obviously end pretty happily. You're the king in a magical land.
Right.
That's like a pretty good way to go. But,
I know, but it's pretty sad when you're limited in choices in terms of how your happiness is going to be.
She leaves me in that one.
Right.
Die in that one. This one, he's miserable and regretful. It can't be this. Wow, this is upsetting.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to bring all that up.
I gotta do a movie with a happy ending.
I mean, Face had a pretty great life. At 18.
Right? Like just got through it all.
Yeah, I kind of loved him.
You think you can just steal man's life and expect there'll be no price to pay?